Welcome back to the Pop of the Man podcast. I'm your host, Jay. With me today, I have a slightly different cast. I have the number one Suns fan in the nation. I got Cam with us. What's up, Cam?
Y'all already know what it is. Suns Nation. Today I'm ripping Ole Miss, even though we're getting the stank beat out of us.
Howdy, toddy. But we have our basketball analyst to return us today. We got Jarquez. What's up, Jarquez?
What's good? What's good?
And then we got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Daniel with us today. What's up, Daniel?
Or museums are not neutral. You know what time it is.
Museums are not neutral. What does that mean?
They are not.
I was wondering that too when I
saw it. So essentially, a lot of museums, some museums that employ me, take like the stance of neutrality, meaning they won't make a stance. So let's say on the issue of like Donald Trump. So we're neutral because we don't want to be political. We'll say like we just say nothing. But to me, museums can't be neutral. So when you take a side saying you won't say anything, that you essentially taking a side, siding with oppression, racism, misogyny, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow, that's deep.
So museums are not neutral.
So I get it from the perspective like museums trying to say that we're just historians, so we're just supposed to like report things, but
no, fuck out of here. History has a side. I just kind of got into this argument at work. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty salty for like 2-3 days straight because I was told no about something. But like, no, I think history has a side. So no matter what it is, history should always be taken looked at with a specific context.
Yes.
So recently someone brought something up to me that's kind of like me saying, I want to talk about slavery, but I won't talk about race. Like, we won't talk about race, but let's talk about slavery. Like, you can't. You always have to look at things from a certain perspective. Mm-hmm. So, no, history has a perspective in which then museums have perspective. I don't give a fuck if you're an art museum, history museum, science museum, anything. Everything always connects.
That's facts.
I was about to say, I think it just boils down to telling the story. Because history is in theory a story. Well, not a theory, in reality a story. And if you're telling a story, every story has more than one side. So,
yeah, perspective. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, like even in history, they tell us that Hitler is bad. Like the things he did is wrong. Like like he reported as such, but then you have to also say like the things he did were not right. But I get what museums try to go for, but at the same time, you can't do that in all situations.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought you were finna say.
I get it. But all right, we appreciate that little tidbit, Daniel. But you know what we do? We give you our takes on basketball, music, and everything in between. This is episode 112. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to this on any streaming services, give us 5 stars on whatever service you're listening to, or check us out on YouTube at Pop of the Man Podcast. You should be able to find our page, subscribe to us. I guarantee you'll enjoy these episodes a lot more if you actually watch them. They're pretty funny, especially if you watch the last episode and saw the eulogy that Cam gave the Clippers. That was pretty good. But any other announcements? If you want a T-shirt, add us. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast the Man, and then DM us your shirt size, the shirt color you would like, and your shipping address, and we'll get everything else set up for you.
And I think it's like 3-day shipping. That shit got here fast.
It is
really
quick.
Fast.
It did get here rather quickly.
It is quick. I don't know what the lawn service you're using, but this should be moving.
Hey man.
Hey man, quality. That's what we do here.
Yes, sir. We popular demand. But anyway, so the first topic of the day, I want to talk to you guys about the Cinderella team of the bubble. Well, actually, it's 2 Cinderella teams in the bubble. We're going to talk about both of them. But we're going to talk about the Cinderella team of the West first. We're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets, who are the comeback kids. They came back from being down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz. They came back from being down 3-1 to the Los Angeles Clippers. And now they are currently down 3-1 to the Los Angeles Lakers. Will they three-peat?
And they won't be coming back.
I don't think they will.
Man.
I really don't. Like, Bron ain't going for that foolishness. I can't see that happening to someone like him. But anyway, I don't really want to talk about whether or not they're going to come back or not. But I want to talk to you guys specifically about the 2 stars on that team, which are Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Now, these 2 have been stupendous. I think Jamal Murray is averaging like 27, 7, and like 5, shooting like close to 50% from the field, shooting like 45% from 3. Just to give you a frame of reference, that's like Steph Curry postseason numbers. Like he's been that prolific from 3. He's been that good from the field, and his passing has been really great. Hasn't really been turning the ball over a lot. and Nikola Jokic has been dominating, dishing, and getting assists while also rebounding and destroying teams from the outside and inside. I think he's shooting like around 40%.
He's even destroying the Lakers on the boards. Like
Yes.
AD, I was AD, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee combined for like 4 rebounds the other day.
Yeah,
that was
I don't know what he's doing,
game.
but he's going crazy on the board. I don't know what he's doing. He's not jumping. I know that much.
No. Team rebounded and boxing out. That's also another thing that the Nuggets are pretty good. No, Nuggets are a pretty big team too, so they're able to compete with the Lakers size from the board. Yeah, but the most important thing is Jokic is shooting like 50, 40, 80 something from the field. Like he's shooting. He was this good last postseason, and now he seems to be shooting just as well. He was like shooting like 33% in the regular season. Now he's shooting like I said, 40% in the bubble is ridiculous. Or really in the postseason. So I want to ask you guys this, and this is the question because I've been rambling for a minute now. Are Murray and Jokic the cornerstones that the Nuggets need to build around for the foreseeable future? Because there were questions about whether you can have a center as your best player, which is Nikola Jokic. It was questions about whether you can have a center who can't defend and protect the rim as your best player. As you know, we see with Jokic, he struggles with protecting the rim, moving his feet, and defending the pick and roll. And then there was also questions whether or not you can have, whether or not Jamal Murray could be that number 2 guy for the big, the guy who can just go get a bucket when you need it from the perimeter and score and make clutch shots. So far, Jamal Murray has delivered in that regard, and so far, Jokic's defense has not been a huge detriment as they were able to knock off teams like the Clippers and the Jazz. Is Murray and Jokic, is that the duo for this team?
I think there's a trio. I think Michael Porter Jr. comes into his own next year. I think he balances out the 3. You know, you got Jokic, you got Porter. You know, they got a elite guard, elite forward, and elite center. All they have to do is just surround them with defense. Basically, that's I think that's where they should go with it. That's the next step for them. I think they're going to be good for a while. I didn't see them beating the teams that they beat. I had them at the beginning of the year. I had them making the playoffs, but being like a second round exit, I believe. But yeah, I think that's the 3 that you build around. You know, 3 offensive juggernauts, and then just stack defense around all in every place that you can get defenders. Get you a 3-and-D 2, which they kind of have in Gary Harris. Find you another. Get you a rim. In Grant, get you a rim protector for the bench, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee type guy, whenever their contract's up, veteran. Bobo he can be that if he puts on some more weight, and I don't know how fast he is on his feet with shuffling and stuff and switch, because you already got one bad person who's bad on switches in Jokic, so you can't have another bad switcher out there. But depending on how he gets better, him as well, and I think they're going to be good for a while. Me personally. Because Joker's the oldest, and he's like, what, 25?
Yeah, he's like 25, I think.
Yeah.
He's not old at all. And then Jamal Murray, I think it's just 22, 23. Cam, do you believe in this new Jamal Murray? Because, like, Jamal Murray, was averaging like 19 points in the regular season. He was shooting maybe like 45%, maybe shooting like 35, 36, 37% from 3. It was modest numbers for a starting point guard. Pretty good. Didn't scream top 10 guy in the league, but Jamal Murray has arguably been the best point guard in the playoffs. In a playoffs that had Damian Lillard, a playoffs that wasn't that many. We're missing Curry. Well, it was better than Westbrook.
Easily.
I'm trying to think.
Could we go as far as say he was the best guard?
Has he been the best guard? Was he better than Harden?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is Jimmy Butler a guard?
Yeah, he's definitely better than Jimmy Butler. He's definitely been better than Jimmy Butler. Has he been the best guard? I'm so
surprised hearing that he was definitely better than Jimmy Butler from you, Jordan. That's very shocking to hear from
Jimmy. Hasn't been bad, but Jimmy doesn't have to have his foot on the gas as much as
No, like I said, like he's putting up 27. He put up 27.7 assists.
Like you said, Steph Curry numbers. You can't.
Yeah, like not many people sniffing that, like at all in any kind of season. And so
it's not a slight at all, saying just how good he's been.
No, not at all. But yeah, I think he actually has been he's been the best guard, I think, in this regular season.
Ain't gonna stunt. How Harden looked in them last couple games. That nigga better than Harden. He's been looking better than Harden. And he's faring better than Harden did against the Lakers. As far as the numbers he's putting up.
Jordan, to answer your question, Jordan, to answer your question, I'm going to revert back to a conversation me and my brother had last night. And the conversation we had was he was like, he walked in the room and he was like talking about the Lakers. He was like, man, Jamal Murray's been playing great, but he was like, he's gonna be getting a lot more attention now in the regular season. And he's gonna be like, like you said, he was, I won't say pedestrian because that's not the right word, but like pretty good starting point guard numbers in the NBA. But like now, I feel like the pressure is like the Nuggets are gonna be more people are gonna want to watch the Nuggets. More people are gonna want to keep seeing them and hoping that Jamal Murray can keep this level of play up. Because I mean, like some of the shots that he's been making and some of the points that he's been putting up have been like he's elevated his game in the playoffs. Like I don't like to compare people to Michael Jordan, but like it's like Ben Jordan-esque watching him sometimes, especially like the layup. I don't know if y'all saw it where he like went up and under and it was like on LeBron, which was kind of even more embarrassing. But like, but yeah, like I definitely feel like I was going back to where what Jaquez said. I really do feel like this dude can work, especially with the advancement of Michael Porter Jr. Like, because I mean he's a rookie, he's only gonna get better. And it's kind of scary to look at some of the players that came out of this rookie class because we got Tyler Hero, we got Zion, we got Ja Morant, we got Michael Porter Jr. And it's like kind of scary. Wait, no, Michael Porter Jr. Is he a rookie or is he?
Yeah, technically, he's like a Blake Griffin rookie.
Okay, yeah. But even Bol, like some of the talent that could come out of this draft could be pretty elite in the future moving forward, especially Cameron Johnson. If y'all haven't seen him from the Phoenix Suns, but but yeah, to answer the question, I definitely feel like Jamal Murray can be that star. It's gonna depend on health because I know that was an issue for him early on, and whether he can be consistent like this over the long haul. And the good thing about it is they don't have to. No one, if Michael Porter Jr. continues to advance, no one player will have to do too much on this team. And yeah. Jordan, I'm going to task you with editing task. I want you to either start this video or add the part in when it was the episode of just me and you talking, like when the bubble was first getting started. And I said, I'm gonna send you the timestamp.
Yeah.
But I said that I wouldn't be surprised if I saw the Denver Nuggets making the conference finals.
I do remember you saying that. I'm gonna have to find that clip. I'm going to find that clip and I'm gonna let you know what the timestamp is because I said that. But at the same time, we were talking about Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And I think I was telling Jarquez, or maybe I was telling you, and it was like, I said, Jamal Murray doesn't have to be like that prolific guard if Michael Porter Jr. becomes what we think he can be. In that case, he could just kind of remain who we thought he was before, and they will be fine. But if he's going to be anything close to this, which I want to ask y'all, do y'all think he will continue to be this, or will you think he will evolve and become a player like when we get back into the real stadiums and we get back with all the fans and things?
So I think he'll continue. So I was looking at his statistics. Honestly, he's just playing more. So I know everyone's like, oh, he wasn't this before in the regular season, but he's never played this much basketball before. So I think not just being tasked with more minutes, and he's showing us that he can play at this high level or this elite level. So I think as the season continues, his season ends tonight, but outside of that, when next season continues, I think he'll be slated with these amount of minutes still, and then I think he'll still play these elite. I think he'll still put up these elite numbers. As far as Jokic, I swear I hate saying his name. My Western tongue always get it messed up. But as far as Jokic go, so I've been paying attention to these last few games, and while I think he's an exceptional talent, and it's crazy for me to say what I'm going to say because I'm just a regular person, and he's an NBA player, so he's clearly in like far better shape than I'll probably ever be in my life. But I don't think he's in the greatest of shape because it seems like this. And granted, they are asking a lot from him, but what he was at the start of maybe the bubble and what he is now, I think you can finally see like the minutes are starting to wear on him and he's starting to like slow down. So even his fourth quarter outputs, if you look at the first two games versus the Lakers versus these past three, I mean, I can say maybe AD and Dwight and stuff are just playing harder on him and able to limit and restrict him. But to me, I also think part of it is he's just slowing down. He's just getting tired because he can't consistently put up this like effort. So I think them as a duo will continue to be great, but I think there are things.
Three things actually. One, Jokic did have coronavirus. It's one thing that's also impressive that people that actually, I'm not talking about Jokic had coronavirus before coming into the bubble.
Right.
and he lost a lot of weight during that
Yeah.
time that we were gone. I don't know if it was because he was.
Yeah,
working
he
out
did.
or
He lost like
sick.
30 pounds, I think.
Yeah,
or
I
something
don't,
like that.
I don't know if it was because
Yeah.
he lost it because of coronavirus and he was sick, or he lost it because of working out. I think it's because of
Yeah.
coronavirus because he.
I think it's both. I think it was
Yeah, I was
both,
about to say
man.
no.
He
There
was
was
over
a
there
picture.
working out.
There was a picture of him, and he had already lost the weight before they said he had coronavirus. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay, so but like I said, he recovered from that, and I could see that could also probably have an effect long term on his like probably still be affecting him.
And I'm
even
not
now.
gonna stunt, Daniel. 7-game series where you coming back from 3-1 when your back's on the wall. Like
I get it.
that's a lot of wear and tear.
Not only
I'm
that,
not knocking it. I'm just saying, to me, it's just been very visible that he's slowing down.
not only that, I think that the Nuggets have played every other night except during that little break when everybody
They got. Yeah.
I think the Nuggets games have been every other night. The
They
Celtics
got better.
the Celtics got like 2 or 3 nights off because of the Western Conference had to catch up. But since the Western Conference had to catch up, the Nuggets had to keep playing every other night for like weeks. Like I can imagine that's so grueling, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you, and of course, once again, I'm talking outside of my neck because I'm not a professional athlete. I don't have to like work to this like insane level, and I don't have to maintain my body at that level. But I hate the kind of. So someone was saying, "Oh, the Lakers got the easier path. They get nights off and better team. Be better in the fucking regular season." That is the whole point of this. That is the entire point of this, nigga. I don't want to play top teams. I don't care. Oh, the ring don't count the same. Cry about it.
I told Dane this a long time ago. Well, that was a long time ago. I think it was like before the playoffs started when people first started saying that about the Lakers. I said, I'm gonna tell you what, Daniel, fuck that. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Nah, I want the easy path to that ring. I want that easy path.
Why would you put all that stress on your body if you don't have to?
Exactly. If you really believe it, then you just coast the regular season, beat the 8th seed, and play all the hardest teams on your way to the. Like, that's not what you do the regular season. But I think
like because with time, everybody forgets that shit. Like, think about it, Jordan. Could you tell me right now who the Detroit Pistons played when they won their titles? Like who they played in the first 3 rounds?
No, I can't.
Nobody remember that shit. Nobody cares.
I know one of them.
Nobody cares.
No, it's funny because
just.
It's like one of my biggest critiques against like AI when people like champion him for making it to the finals that one year. I'm like, nobody even talks about his series before that Lakers series. Like who he beat, like who the teams he was beating on in the East, that weak ass East that year. But nobody cares about that because that doesn't really matter in the long term as long as you get to the finals.
Because he went to the finals.
Yeah,
that's all people care about.
That's all. Like I said, Lakers gonna get there. They gonna get this ring. Ain't nobody gonna care who they play. Ain't nobody.
I will say this. I think this might be the only instance where niggas actually like hold that to niggas. Like I think like last year, like they said, the Warriors, like Toronto only won because the Warriors hurt. I feel like in 5 years, niggas not gonna
like the Warriors and get all their rings because they.
Exactly, those are facts. Dan, you talk those facts, but I feel like this might be the only ring where there is an actual asterisk. Like niggas, it was a pandemic.
And it's gonna be because Michael Jordan won it. Not Michael. It's gonna be because LeBron James won it. That's why. That's why there's gonna be an argument. They're gonna look back and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, he's getting close to being the GOAT." So I got to find another reason that he can't be there.
I told someone on Twitter. They asked me, "Should there be an asterisk next to this season?" I don't think there should be an asterisk next to this season because winning is still hard, as you saw with the Clippers, as you saw with the Bucks. No matter how much talent you have on your team, it's very hard to win playoff games. I just think that we need to remember the context of this season when we realized that the number 4 seeded Heat, who had a losing record on the road, has only lost 2 games in the whole playoffs. They had a terrible record on the road. They were like as bad as the Sixers on the road, but they haven't had to play one road game in the bubble.
Let me tell you.
That's the kind of things we need to remember when we contextualize the season. But at the same time, the Heat still came out and played, and they still played better than the Bucks.
I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because I just talked all that shit about museums and context. But I don't give a fuck. As long as banner number 17 goes up, I don't care. Nobody talks about the Celtics winning most of their rings and playing against fucking plumbers because nobody fucking cares. So now it's not like teams weren't playing elite talent. It's not like everybody didn't have to face the same circumstances in the bubble.
Yeah,
exactly.
Facts. No. That's why I hated that whole there's no crowd, there's no this, there's no that. I know, bro. Niggas the people on the other side of the court who whooped your ass are going through the same things you're going through, or used to the same things you're used to. Like, no, there's no excuses.
Yeah, man, like I said, that's why I said I don't think there should be an asterisk on the season because at the end of the day, you still have to beat the other team. But we can't act like those things don't play a role. That's why home teams majority of the time win game sevens because it's just that much harder to win on the road in the playoffs. That's why home teams typically win majority of their games in the playoffs. Like that kind of stuff does matter. Like that's why I said we got.
So if anything, that should make it more tough because everybody on the road now.
I'm not saying making it
them
easier.
seeds for the Clippers.
No. I'm saying no. Because the thing is about the Clipper season is they could have ended up playing in Denver, which is one of the hardest places to play in the NBA. Like that's an incredible home court advantage that the Nuggets have. A very unique home court advantage that they don't even get the benefit from. Like teams don't have to travel to the Denver and adjust
Mile High City.
To the Mile High City. Like I said, you could in some cases it makes it easier. Some cases it makes it harder. Like I said, the Heat are terrible on the road. So not having to play on the road has made things easier for them.
They are playing on the road. They're not at the American Airlines Arena.
But
they're playing on the road.
But see, it
Still in
depends.
Florida.
And my ass.
It's still in Florida.
I feel that, Daniel. I definitely feel that.
It depends on what is impacting their play. Like if they get to other arenas and what bothers them is the away crowd yelling at them.
Y'all forgetting about the virtual fans.
Like, hey, no, man,
well, they don't have their home fans cheering them on. Then Jordan, it's the same thing. Like it sounds like a whole bunch of excuses to lose.
I'm saying this. If a team,
I'm with you. I'm actually with you though, Jordan. I agree.
Yeah, I'm saying if a team that lost a lot of away games in the regular season is now winning the away games in the bubble, you have to think that that probably might not have been the case if the away games were actually away like they were in the regular season. Especially since
not knocking you, but I just feel like
I would say, especially since historically teams who play away generally struggle, especially lower seeds.
I hear what you're saying. For me personally, I hate a shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
If Paul George did X, Y, Z, the Nuggets wouldn't even be here. Lakers would be down 3-1 against the Clippers. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Jordan. I'm just saying I've heard that rhetoric before.
No, for sure.
So
I was about to say I agree with Jordan because like this. I mean, it's like you can't completely forget about it because it's a global pandemic, but at the same time, it's not an excuse. I feel like that's where you. Yeah. Okay. See that's you can't completely forget about it because it's nothing. It's not nothing, but at the same time, it is something.
Yeah, like I said,
I'm not saying that it's not
no difference.
I'm not saying that there's not a difference, but that it's not something. Go ahead, Jacques.
So Jordan, does this topic tie into the topic whether or not do we think that all the bubble teams like like how Harrow and the Heat have been playing and does this tie into that same? Is that a different topic? Do you think those teams will be able to sustain this play going into next season, or is that another topic in itself?
We'll come back to it actually, because like I said, we're going to talk about the Heat, and then we're going to talk about a couple of players, and if we think that this is who they actually are, or whether they aren't. But moving on to like the first music topic of the day. We have another thought, Cam?
Okay, to wrap it up. All right, one thing I want to say. I do feel where you're coming from, Jordan, with the coronavirus when we talk about Jokic just being in shape because it's literally a respiratory disease. So, I mean, that can play something into it. Also, very hard to overcome. But also, this is for Daniel. Daniel, don't you ever feel bad for critiquing a professional athlete for not being in shape because they get paid millions of dollars to be in shape. It is their job to be in shape. So if they are not in shape, we need to critique them. That's our job. He's not doing his job. It's our job to talk about him. So don't feel bad ever again about doing that.
You're right.
So moving on to the first music topic of the day, I want to talk to you guys about Reason. TDE's Problem Child. He released a new song that he said wasn't going to be on the album. He just released it as a freebie. He actually released a new single, which I presume was going to be on the album, featuring Vince Staples, which I actually thought was pretty good. But before that,
it was quality.
It was quality. Him and Vince did their thing on it. But I want to talk to you guys about this. He says on his song, The Soul Part 2, see, y'all mistake my name for Logic. Y'all got me fucked up. How you compare a nigga that take from the culture? I don't understand why he took this unnecessary dig at Logic. Reason has been doing these kind of antics a lot, like with him having that song. It's kind of like reminiscent of not Barbie Dreams. What's the original song that Barbie Dreams took the idea from?
Dreams, Biggie.
Yeah,
it's Biggie Dreams.
Yeah, Biggie's Dreams. He pretty much did the same thing where he's like the shock value and he's like saying all these different like name dropping of like 20 to 30 different celebrities. Now he's dissing Logic on this random song. He's released like 5 to 6 singles. He talks crazy on on Twitter and like trolls, like he said, yeah, TDE album coming, but it actually wasn't coming. Like it's guys, how much cornier can Reason possibly be at this point, man?
I think for me, I didn't even think to compare it to like the Big 50, Nicki, Kim, all the people who flipped those songs. To me, when those people did it, it didn't feel corny, and maybe it's because those people are winners. I hate to call Reason a loser, but the game is the game. So to me, those artists were like super successful. So it felt like hip hop. It didn't feel like they were picking for straws or looking for attention. It felt like it was just hip hop. For Reason, it feels to me kind of like the whole 6ix9ine thing. Not necessarily 6ix9ine's antics, but I feel like people bigger and argue with 6ix9ine because they know it gets attention. It's something people will pay attention to. So I feel like Reason attacks Logic because Logic is an easy target. And I'm a person who like heavily slanders Logic, but the last thing I will call him is a culture vulture or someone who's like taking from hip hop. I think Logic, if he's taking anything, he gives just as much. So yeah, I just thought it was super corny, but I think Reason's super corny. So I expect corny niggas to do corny things.
Like Logic is, like I said, an easy target, and it's obviously him trying to punch up to get attention. Because somebody was on, I think Logic responded by somebody asked him, "What do you think about Reason's diss?"
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, and Logic said, "I don't know who that is," and I thought that was hilarious because there's two things. One, Reason really is not big enough for maybe Logic to even know who that is. Like I could honestly believe Logic, like I really don't know who the hell this is. I don't. I think that's funny. Two, I think it's funny that Logic is big enough to say things like that. And someone on Twitter tried to say, like, Logic ain't got it like that. He's saying things like that. I'm like, Logic be selling north of 100,000.
He definitely does.
He be selling north of 100,000.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I thought Reason was a singer fan. I got Reason and Sir like mixed up. So when I seen it, I was like, what the fuck? Why is this singing ass nigga taking a big? And I was like, oh, this a rapper. Oh, okay. So I definitely feel where Logic's coming from.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it's so funny hearing Logic say, I don't know who that is. And it just goes to show you that this is all an attention grab. Like, is Reason's beefing with somebody who's personally never done anything to him, personally never said anything to him, and the claims Reason makes against Logic aren't valid because Logic has never done anything. He's never done any cultural appropriating. At least in my mind, like he's always done.
It's his culture.
Yeah, it's his culture. Like he grew up in hip hop. He's a half black man, despite what a lot of people think about how he looks. And the things he pays a lot of odes to a lot of hip hop artists, and he shows he respects to them.
He's like, a what?
He's a what?
He's a what? He's a half who?
Half black man.
Oh man!
You ain't know? He's a young.
Let me mute myself.
He's a young half black man.
What is he doing?
He's a young half black man.
He just want to live, bro.
Some of the time.
Oh,
I looked up Logic chart history. He don't gotta talk to a nigga like Reason. I'm
don't.
sorry, and I know people say, "Oh, charts don't matter." Yes, they fucking do. Reason ain't sniffing Logic. Like, get out of here.
So let me ask you this, Daniel.
No.
Will this keep you from enjoying? Like, if Reason drop an album tomorrow, will this keep you from listening to it?
I don't enjoy Reason now.
Yeah. Okay.
So perfect example. I only listened to that last Reason song. One, you sent it to me, and then not only you sent it to me because I was like, why the fuck? Like, I don't care. But it's because Vince Staples is on it. So that's how like my end. So it has to be. So unless Reason got a tribal like Dot or something like that, I'm not listening to Reason. I don't know when he became TDE bastard child, but he kind of is. I don't really give a fuck about what Reason got going on. I think
Reason is a lost cause. And he's released like 7 singles this year. TDE don't let artists release music, and it's so weird that he's getting released music the way he is, and ain't none of them sticking. Like they're trying their hardest.
You gotta pop before you get that mystique.
They literally don't give a damn about him.
I would tell you, no other new TDE artist got that kind of freedom to just release music just like that, and like single after single after single with music videos to go with them. So a lot of those songs that he released earlier in the year aren't going to even be on the album, but they got music videos. Like that's so strange to me. Like I don't understand what they're doing with him at all.
I don't even think at this point anymore. I'm gonna stop blaming TDE for artists not releasing music. I was listening to the Sun's tirade the other day, and then I don't know why I was, but I was. I mean, it's a good project. I don't know why I said that. But I was listening to it, and then, it starts with that skit. I think it's Top or Punch or one of them. Gonna tell Isaiah, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, when are you going to drop music? Everybody want it. Like, do you not want people to, like, love you? And then I remember them also fighting with SZA publicly, like, yo, what the fuck? When are you going to drop? So at this point, I think we need to stop attacking that label and management, and I think we need to realize it's the artists who don't want to drop. I don't think the label doesn't want them to drop.
Good God, they got the wrong one in their camp that wants to drop all the time. Good God, man. I don't want to hear all this. I think Reason is solid. The amount that he's giving us relative to the other people on the label, not warranted. Not at all.
That main song is good.
That new song is good, but like I said, he released like 7 other singles this year that are all they're very forgettable. Despite him doing things to make them not forgettable, like shock value stuff. But moving on.
Fuck with Reason. Oh.
I think it's so crazy how we like choose in culture who we like slander from or like this type of stuff from, because I remember Nas did it earlier with Doja Cat when he called out Doja Cat, and
I ain't like that either.
Daniel didn't like it.
That was corny.
Delon didn't like
it.
I
think Core was the only one that did liked it. Yeah. that did like it. And that's very Core of him.
Yeah, very Core of him. I'm telling you, Core was going to slander Reason to hell if he had been on the episode today. So Reason, you dodged a bullet. Just know that, man. Just know that. But moving on to the next topic, I want to talk to you guys about. We're going to make it shift back to basketball. We're going to talk about the Miami Heat. Word to Jaquez. Jaquez brought up that he wanted to talk about how good can this young Miami core be around Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. I think Tyler Hero had 37 points the other night, which put the Heat up 3-1 on the Celtics. Bam Adebayo has been he's an all-star in his second season in the league. He's also second team all defense in the league, and a lot of people believe he could be defensive player of the year.
Wait, Bam? Bam was second team defense?
Yes, I think.
He was.
Yeah, he was second team.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, how good do you guys believe? Do you guys believe in a core of Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo to lead the Heat in the future and be a title contender? I guess I got to throw none in there, even though he's been so bad they can't play him anymore. But yeah, do you believe in them?
It's been a crazy story to think about.
I do. I don't think. I feel like this type of environment fits the. I think this is like it was built for the Heat to thrive.
Did you just say it didn't have anything to do with it in the previous topic?
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say that it had nothing to do with it. I was just saying I feel like this. Like think about like Jimmy Butler. He's the type of player. The summer he made his jump to be the most improved. The nigga locked himself in the gym, didn't have his phone on him for like 3 months, and he came back out a fucking all-star. Pat Riley, Miami Heat, you always hear about the grit and grime and how they have their players like on like some military regiment type shit. Like it's just like this environment is like built for them to thrive. Honestly, like this is some shit that they used to. I don't know if like say if they go and win a title this year. I can't say for certain that they're gonna be back next year and win and defend that title, or they're gonna be right back the next year. Like I could say for the Lakers, like it's like if the Lakers win, I could definitely say with confidence that there's a good possibility that they could be back. You feel what I'm saying?
You ain't feeling that, Dan? You don't think the Lakers will come back?
that's a hot take, Daniel.
Dan, one and done. This our year.
Yeah, you got to get it this year.
That's what Dane worry about. You worry about the light-skinned boys in Oakland.
And the light-skinned boys that get in the draft too.
Man, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't see them light-skinned boys in Oakland being back unless Giannis say fuck it.
Whoa,
KD and these niggas. Me personally,
interesting.
Me personally.
I'm on the other side of the fence.
Draymond's past his prime.
I think people, it's just recency bias. I think it's been so long since people have seen that team. So a lot of the takes I've been hearing, especially a lot of the conversations around Steph, have honestly like caught me off guard every time they come up. So I think people just haven't.
I've seen more Clay disrespect than I've seen Steph. Now I'm not saying that they don't make the playoffs. I've seen more Clay disrespect than I've seen Steph. To be honest,
Steph disrespect has been like crazy.
Now, because like when Dan was going off, people was like Curry gonna have to come back and take his throne back from Dan, because Dan was now the best point guard in the league. I'm like, y'all, like. Steph Curry did a lot of shit to get that title. Like, to steal it from Russ and Westbrook. I don't just give it up to somebody else because he hurt. Like,
he gonna have to take it from Jamal Murray first.
No, it's funny. I actually saw a tweet about that. Would you rather have this Jamal Murray in the playoffs or Steph Curry?
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. I actually.
I didn't know niggas was bugging like that. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know, he was bugging out like that.
Recency bias.
But I was saying that just because like the length and like how like it seems like the league is shifting again. You know, at first it was like guard play, guard play, guard play. And now it seems like it's shifting to
Wings,
big
long.
wings and big player, big men and shit like that. Versatile big men and versatile wings. So that's the only reason I say that, and it's not like a slight to them because I think they're both amazing. Like when they were slandering Clay, when they were saying that Booker's better than Clay and shit like that, and I was like, y'all niggas is bugging. Clay don't play 1 year, and y'all forget that nigga. You know what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? 37
I think Jordan
and a
and Cam
quarter.
who said that.
I was
It was a lot of
for
niggas
while.
saying it, including Cam. I remember arguing him on Facebook.
I know I was saying it. I know I said it. I know for a fact that I said it.
But yeah, I just think that's what I think that I don't think the Heat. If the Heat, I think this type of environment is built for the Heat. Me personally, I don't know if I can't say with a lot of confidence that them niggas gonna be back.
I don't know. For me,
That's
I feel
just
like
me.
winning is contagious. I think so. I think it breeds and builds a culture. So, like you said, I have heard craziness about like how the Miami Heat are built, the diet they put the players under, the type of workout they put them under. I've heard like some of the players who thought they were like in the best shape of their life, they did the Miami training camp and then they like threw up because it was intense. Some of the workouts they had them on, which low key sound like a crime against humanity, but different topic. But so I think to me, if you already have that team who wants it that much, who's just that hungry for it, who's that tough, who is that gritty, and then they win. Once again, I don't think they're winning, but for the sake of this conversation, they win. I think to me that changes the mindset of a lot of players because I think it's a different. You can tell when a player is confident, and I think that's what's been interesting to me about the Heat so far, and especially with Hero being so young, he shoots and plays like someone who's been here before, who's done this before. So I think when you actually win, and that confidence becomes like validated, it becomes contagious to the entire team. I don't really care what environment you are in anymore. I think you play different. You play with a different type of swagger. And shit, they already got the winning swagger. So if they just actually become winners, I think that energy carries on.
It's akin to what we see with the Raptors and the kind of grit they have. Like the way they played this year without Kawhi isn't the way they played in previous years without Kawhi. They had an entire different swagger coming into this playoffs. Even though they did lose, you can tell that team had an edge to it that they didn't have in previous years before winning with Kawhi. And if, like I said, the Heat were to win it all, they would definitely play with that same – they would play with a different kind of moxie than they did this year, and which is crazy because this year they played like a championship-level team.
Well, okay, so do you want me to answer the question, Jordan, or were you going to say something else?
Oh, I can't remember. I think you mean my original question about Hero and Bam? Yeah. So, go ahead. I was about to bring that back up, actually.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. I really like Bam. I really like Bam as a player. Really like Hero. And the fact that he's a rookie is kind of he is a rookie, right? Am I right?
He's a rookie.
Yes. Yeah. The fact that he's a rookie and doing everything that he's doing is very reminiscent of when Jason Tatum came through and did what he was doing the year that they played the Lakers in the conference. I mean, not the Lakers, the Cavaliers in the conference finals. Yeah. But to answer your question, I do not see this team. I don't see this team being a long-lasting type dynastic type team because I mean the players are young, so I mean if they were to win a ring, I think we would be talking maybe dynasty or I don't know, but I don't see this because typically with this type of stuff you can see these teams coming, and I don't think we saw this thing coming. And back to what you were saying, Jordan, I think that like we said, it's not nothing, but it's something. I think that these circumstances have helped. If it could help any team, the Heat would be the team that it helps the most because of their road record, because of their youth. These players aren't too far removed from AAU basketball. So, I mean, I would say I don't see this coming. And honestly, the Eastern Conference is not a pushover. Like, granted, they beat who did they beat in the second round? Who did the Heat beat in the second round?
The Bucks.
Yeah, they beat the Bucks. So I don't see.
Best team in the NBA.
For all intents and purposes, I see the Bucks coming back as a good team, and also maybe even getting better over the offseason so they don't lose Giannis this coming season. So I see the Bucks coming back. I can't see them. If we ever get back to the point where we can get back in stadiums and have fans, I can't see the Heat beating the Bucks again. I personally think next season it's gonna be the Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets in the conference finals. So those are two powerhouses that I see coming back. Then the Bucks, and then like you got other teams like the Raptors. I'm not sure how well this Heat team would have fared against the Raptors, but I mean they were able to. They are where they are for a reason. They're a good team, but I don't see I think they were. I'll just say this. I think they were the fifth seed for a reason. And I think this is a flash in the pan type thing, and I think that we'll see them make the finals. We'll see them probably get a Lakers if they make the finals. The Celtics could come back, but this is gonna air, and then the Celtics are gonna lose, and I'm gonna look stupid. But,
Lakers in 6.
but yeah, they'll get to the finals, and they'll have a good season, but
6.
yeah, losing 6 or something like that,
Okay.
and it'll be. And it'll be a good story to tell in the future. Y'all remember that Heat team, but I don't think this is something that we can expect to see come moving forward. I don't think we can expect them to continue playing this way.
Yeah, because I think that's.
I will say this, Cam. I feel like the East is all about matchups. Like I feel like it's like the Bucks. I knew the one team, like even in the regular season, the Heat were fucking the Bucks up like every game. Like I knew when they got them in the playoffs, I was like, yeah, the Heat probably gonna win this series because the Bucks just don't play good against them at all. And Bam really be putting the clamps on Giannis. Like the only way I see the Bucks beating the Heat in the playoffs, if they stay the same way they are now, is if Giannis like really like continues to do what he's been doing and like just complete add some whole new shit to his game.
That's what I expect, though. That's what I expect.
They really just need Bud to wisen up. Like he didn't make anybody's job easier in that series. When the Heat showed their game plan for how they was gonna guard Giannis, Coach Bud didn't make one adjustment to make Giannis' job easier. He didn't make one adjustment to make the other players on the court job easier. They just continued with the same plan, and they asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, this is how we got here." That's so stupid and pig-headed. Like, it disgusted me hearing Coach Bud talk.
I mean, my boy Doc.
And Doc, it made me think of Doc. I'm like, man, that's so stupid. But yeah, I do agree with Cam. Somebody asked this question on Twitter. And it wasn't a lot of. It was like, how if the Heat are doing this now? They've now lost 3 games in the bubble. Before they asked the question, they only lost 2 the entire time they were in the playoffs, which is just as good as what the Lakers had done. The Lakers only lost 3, and the Heat have lost 3.
The Lakers lost 3. That's right.
Yeah, the Lakers have lost 3 now. So the question is this: how did this 5th seed team go from? How does the 5th seed team being is just as dominant in this postseason as the Lakers, who are the number 1 seed in the West? And like I said, that's why I say you got to kind of take in the context of there's things with the.
I will say this, Jordan. I can't remember who. I want to say it was Jalen Rose. He said you got to think about it. Basically, you had an entire offseason off before you went to the playoffs. He said this isn't the same Jason Tatum, Tyler Hero. These aren't rookies. Basically, these aren't rookies. These are basically second year or next year players. You know what I'm saying? So like Donovan Mitchell was playing. He was like, this isn't the same Donovan Mitchell that we saw last year. He went and he had an off season. He had 4 months to go work on his game and then come back and have a time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is what played a role into it. That this, because maybe this Heat team was built to be who they are now. It's just like, them niggas was young, and then they went and had a halt. They got a taste of the lead. They know what they need to work on. Went in the offseason, worked on that shit, and then they came back and we got a title, and they just made the best of it. So I think that's more so why that explains why this team went from being a 5th seed to being basically the most dominant team in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, that's very valid because, like I said, most off season is like 2 to 3 months, so the time they had off was like equal to a normal off season.
Right?
Yeah, I will say that I still ain't spoken on my original question. I do believe that Bam could be a defensive player of the year type guy. His offensive game has he shows promise there, but there's still a lot he needs to be able to do in terms of like shooting. That's the main thing, getting a consistent shot before he becomes anything too special on offense. But he's shown that if you have a guy on your team who could do what he did to Giannis, you can go a lot of places. To be honest with you, he's been a difference maker. He's made a lot of game-changing blocks in the Celtics series. Like
it's not even the blocks; it's the switches, man. That's the most impressive thing to me. How easily he can switch onto like some of the best guards in the league and like stay in front of him. Like he can switch on to Jason Tatum, and Eric Spoelstra doesn't have to pull his hair out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm saying like he's been the type of game changer that's real to me. He's been the unsung hero of the Heat. That like I understand it's cool to praise Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a hard worker. He tells you how hard he works every day in all that shape, form, or fashion. But it wasn't Jimmy Butler guarding Giannis. It wasn't Jimmy Butler holding the MVP, keeping him from his 30 points per game. Like that wasn't him holding that guy. And like I said, it's not Jimmy Butler who's switching onto those guards and then going back to the paint and then stopping those same guards at the paint. Like Bam has arguably probably been the most important, if not the second most important. Yeah, I think he's probably the most important Heat player.
Yeah, he's the engine. He's definitely the engine
on this team. Like like I said, not to say that if you didn't have him, it wouldn't go this far. But also, if you have Jimmy Butler, it wouldn't go that far. I think both is equally true. But I think his value outweighs what Jimmy has been bringing to this team because man, he's been taxed with some tremendous things and he's doing it. As for Hero, he's shown all the tools to score at all levels, shooting from three, shooting from mid range, finishing at the rim, showing ability to pass out of pick and roll, being a good rebounder. He showed all the chops of being
and he's a serviceable defender. Serviceable. Yes. He's not.
He's shown all the chops of being a very good number one option lead guard. The only question is, and this is the thing too, is he's not the primary focus of the offense. So when he becomes
right,
how will he handle double teams? How will he handle like hard shows off of the pick and roll? How he responds to that will dictate how good he actually is. I also want to get back under regular season, we get back to going on the road, how well he performs in away games and things of that nature. That usually role players play bad on the road, and then your stars, they play good regardless if they're home or away. So it'll be, when we get back in that environment, see how he performs then, I think we'll have a better idea of who Bam and Hero is. But I think
sure. What do you think their window is?
Their window, like I said, it's hard to say because Bam is he can't be more than 23. How old is Bam?
No, Bam is, like you say, he's a second year player. He's like 21, 22, maybe.
I believe
Hero's young, but then they got the older guys like Jimmy, who's like 30.
Yeah, so their current window, like I said, next year, Dragic is going to be an unrestricted free agent, so they'll have to re-sign him if they want to. But then again, Dragic's like 34, so it's like, do you give him another big deal or you just let him walk? Or
that's what I was going to ask you.
You give him that CP3?
No, sir.
What I was going to say was, now that they're winning at this high of a level and this team seems like a fun team, it seems like they all gel together, it seems like they have a mission. I don't know who's on the free agent market, but I think now Miami looks appealing again because Miami is a great city to live in.
Yes, and
warm weather, beautiful women, good food,
and that's what I was winning. That's what I was going to get to. So the Heat couldn't sign people in the past because they had all those bloated contracts. But after this past offseason, where they got rid of Whiteside contract, they got rid of Tyler Johnson contract, they got rid of I forgot who else. It was somebody else's contract. I'm drawing a blank on. But they got rid of somebody else's contract off their books. I think Solomon Hill is going to be off their books soon, if not this year. They could choose to bring Dragic back. They're going to have money. They're going to have money to play with. Like they couldn't if they don't re-sign Dragic, they will have money to make a run at Giannis when he's a free agent. So those are things that the Heat will be capable of doing. We've seen what Pat Riley has done in the past in terms of recruitment of great players. I think that'll be what the front office does for them will depend on what their ultimate window will be. But like next year, I don't see them being that team because that's a lot of things they got to break even for them to be that same team again. But 2 years from now, I think a new window opens for them depending on who they're able to snag a free agency. Because technically, Kawhi Leonard will be a free agent then. Paul George will be a free agent then.
LeBron
will be a free agent again, which I'd highly doubt he'd go back and play with Pat Riley. But it's a lot of great players who be free agents in 2021, and I think that'll determine what their window actually is with the Miami Heat. But that's right now. They got two really great young players. I think they put the Celtics away. I'm pretty sure. I think they put the Celtics away eventually. I'm not exactly sure when, but I think it.
I ain't gonna stunt. If they don't win,
if they lose game six, it's a whole new series.
Street says Miami was supposed to win Game 5, but them refs gave it away.
There it is.
They lost by damn near. I ain't gonna stunt, Daniel. They lost by damn near 20. I don't want to hear that shit.
There it is.
You just told me I don't want to hear coulda, woulda, coulda, whatever. Now them motherfuckers lose. I checked the score. Them motherfuckers down 20 points. I said,
but no, I
don't want to hear none of that.
I looked up and it was kind of close. I was like, dang, the Heat might get this over with. Man, I went to the kitchen and came back and they were down like 20. I was like, what's going on?
I was like, yeah.
Man. It was funny on Twitter because it said, damn, man, Jimmy Butler, y'all favorite hero, lost. He couldn't, I guess, because he couldn't depend on a rookie or that 30-year-old man on his team win the game for him. That shit had me cracking up. I was like, damn.
I'm sure you retweeted that, huh, Jordan?
Nah, I did. It was funny.
Hey man, Jordan undercover Jimmy Butler hater. If you go back and watch the episode, you hear all every time you talk about Jimmy Butler, it's low
No,
key hating his
I
It's
tone.
never,
not
it's never
undercover.
positive, bro. It's never positive.
I'm
Never
just
positive.
I'm just a realist, and like anytime
Ah,
he
there it
play,
is. Now he objective.
no, I'm
There you
just
go. Look at
nah.
look at him. Look
Yeah,
at
I'm saying like anytime people take things like over the board, I'm like, hey y'all, calm down now. Let's pump our brakes. Like let's really think about this. Like y'all going a little too far. I would have to like bring it back down because
Jordan just mad because the streets say Jimmy Butler a good teammate and his boy was just a
Facts.
crybaby ass nigga. The game is a game sometimes. That's life. Like that's just life.
that's cool. Like I
Question for
said,
y'all: Who y'all think has been the best player in the series? To me, I'm
uh,
not gonna lie. I think it's been JT. That nigga's been averaging like every time I look up, he's got like 10 rebounds, 10, 11 rebounds, 25 plus points, and
honestly,
some assists to go with that. And he's playing, he's defending.
yeah, I think it's JT. After
I'm
that,
shocked that they're in this position.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's been Kimba. It's Kimba, bro. It's Kimba. Because like in late game situations, they go to Kimba. He's just been pedestrian as fuck. Like he hasn't been like they tried to make him to be a Kyrie light, and he isn't that. Like that nigga been out there looking like Ty Lawson,
and they've
like
been
Well,
dead ass, bruh.
and LOL, that's a funny ass comparison. And they've been picking on him in the pick and roll. They've been picking on him and Tice in the pick and roll and just eating those two alive. Yeah, and that also the Celtics have struggled defending. Like the Celtics have struggled scoring on the zone. Like the guys don't seem like they know where they need to be in order to break the zone, and they just playing right into it, and that's how they cough up those
My
large
nigga.
leads.
And my thing is, you've been playing basketball since high school. Everybody knows you break a zone by getting the ball to the middle of the fucking zone. Like it's not hard. And then Brad still got them ISOing. Like I'm just not understanding why are they still ISOing against a zone. That doesn't make sense.
And that's also
Like
one of Jason Tatum flaws is he tends to get ISO happy, and so they'll be in the flow of the offense. And I think it was game one or game two, like he was like ISOing us. Like they had a beautiful offense going, they were getting the ball around, and I think the zone came out and Tatum still ISOing us. Like, nah, move the ball.
It's a Mamba mentality, man.
Yeah, boy.
Well, I was about to say the spirit of Kobe in him.
For better or worse. And I would say this: that Mamba mentality cool to have until you don't have Mamba talent, and it just don't work.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
But yeah, I think Jay Tatum has been the best player
like
in this
Tatum.
series. Probably, boy,
Yeah.
maybe Bam or Brown's been the second best player, and then
I gotta go Bam. Bam's been second best at him because Brown has had his moments. He's either hit or miss. But Kimba's definitely hasn't played. I feel like if Kimba plays somewhat like he did in Charlotte a couple years back when they made that playoff run, well not run, but they got to the playoffs and they played LeBron in the first round. I think they win this series easily. But
I'm about to say
yeah,
Dragic and Tyler Hero outplaying him.
Bro, my
You
favorite
facts.
thing to do is to like watch Jaquez tweet and make Facebook posts all week, then come on the podcast and defend every single post that he makes. It's so crazy.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here
yes,
for.
sir.
All right. So I want to move on to our next music topic. I want to talk to you guys about Rolling Stone made a top 500 best albums of the all-time list. I don't know how in the hell, and it's not just one genre either. They did best 500 albums across all genres. I don't know how they sat down and formulated a list like this. I try to make like
Any
a top 50
list after
list.
10 is bullshit.
I don't understand how they was capable of doing this. So I just want to talk to you about some of the bigger fine points that came from the list. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was the highest rated album out of all the albums in the 2000, and then Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was the highest. Yeah, it was the highest rated rap album of all time. I can't remember exactly what their placements were, but I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like top 30. And then Lauryn Hill's maybe.
I want to say Ye was 11. Maybe Ye. I want to say Beautiful Dark Twisted was like number 11 on that list. L Book had to be like anywhere from number 5 to 7.
So I'm gonna ask you this, Daniel. 2 questions. One, do you believe that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is the best rap album of the century? And 2, whether you think it is or not, why do you think this album gets that kind of acclaim? Because it's been called the best rap album of like the last decade.
I'm trying to think, and that's why I told you I don't believe anything after a list of 10 because it becomes too subjective, becomes too hard. There's too much music that comes out for me to honestly and accurately say. So what are we saying? You said since the year 2000 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy the best rap album?
Yes, that's what Rolling Stone has it listed as the best rap
Well,
album
I
since
mean,
2000.
Blueprint came out in that time period. Nas dropped Lost Tapes 2 in that time period. He dropped, what's the album with him? Life is Good. Dot drops The Pimp a Butterfly. I'm not
You
saying,
got
I
Food
don't
and
mind when
Liquor.
people give up. You know how I feel about Lupe. Um, I'm not. I'm not saying that Ye can't be the. I don't know if I feel that way. I think people just. I think it was a good time. I think Ye was on like a historic run because I want to say Watch Your Throne, My Beautiful Dark Twisted. What else comes out in that period? The Cruel Summer album or Cruel Winter.
Yep.
So Ye was just like on it, and that's within I think 12 months. So Ye's just like on an insane creative output, and I personally I hate when people are like, "Oh, I love when that artist used to do X Y Z," but I'm a hypocrite because I love when Kanye took his time and was like meticulous and just like well thought out and wanted to wait till it was like overly perfect before he gave it to me.
Yes.
And I think he does all of those things with My Beautiful Dark Twisted. And I think, yeah, I mean, I love the album. I don't have no grievances with it. The album, like, Nicki Minaj is always going to be Nicki Minaj, but I think that was like her, like, to the rap world, like, here, this is her.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to love that album for that. He's just great. Push has a great verse on there. Ross has one of his best verses on there. Phenomenal fucking album. Do I think it's the best since 2000? Probably not. But who the fuck am I?
I think that I don't think it's the best.
Wait! Late Registration.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. I don't even think it's the best Kanye album. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard it, I bought into the hype. Well, I bought into the hype, and I really believed it because a lot of outlets were saying it, and I'm like, you know what? This is better than Graduation. This is better than 808s.
It is better than Graduation.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But at that moment, I wasn't thinking far back as Late Registration. I should have been when all this was happening. But in that moment, I'm like, yeah, this is probably the best I've ever heard Kanye. He's rapping really, really well. He has some phenomenal features, great production. It was really spelt the era of like grandiose production and like I said, meticulous attention to the fine details in the music, which we don't really get that all the time now because of how fast people churn out music every year. I believe since it solidified itself as the best in that moment, it was hard for people to ever really move away. I feel like it's a safe bet to say that. To say anything else was better than it was I think would be deemed a hot take in the hip hop community. So I think that's why it stayed and held that spot because it is a really great album. I can't sit here and tell you what I think.
Top 3 album.
I can't sit here and tell you what I think is bad or could have been better about it. But at the same time, I think Late Registration, like, oh man, like production. I think production on Late Registration was even better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
And you lost me.
Hey, I'm telling you what, man. I'm a sucker for samples. I'm a sucker for that soul sample, and that nigga was in his bag all across that album.
Chopping them bitches up.
And he was and his rapping was also really, 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 really good on Late Registration. Conscious Ye, in touch with the Shy Ye. Like, I'm a sucker for all that, and I think that has an equal claim to be just as good. So that's why I don't think it's the best because I can't even say definitively it's the best Kanye album. And there's a couple of other albums. Just a couple, like a handful, I would say that I think are actually better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Now, Daniel, how do you feel about Miseducation Lauryn Hill being deemed the best rap album of all time? We were having a conversation about this album not too long ago.
So I'm going to try my hardest not to slander or disrespect Lauryn because I love Lauryn and I love that album. I think that album is beautiful.
Yes.
I think Lauryn is singing with the best of them. I think she's rapping with almost the best of them on that. And I think she's trying to juggle them both. And not trying, she's juggling them both. She's doing them phenomenally. So to me, that list was, Lauryn is the only woman in rap on that list. So you went through 500 albums and Lauryn's the only woman.
Wow.
And it's not even Lauryn's best rapping, because to me, Lauryn's best rapping is on the score. And I'm not even sure if the score makes that cut. So I think it's just the Miseducation, it somehow got this life where it's like this mythicized album and like no one can like really speak bad on it. And once again, there's not much bad to say about that album. I can't think of something bad about that album. But like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it lives in this weird realm. But hell fuck no, Miseducation is not the best rap album of all time. I love Lauryn. Love that album. It's not top 10 best rap album.
I think the only I think the biggest critique about it, hold it thought, Cam. I think the biggest critique about it from most people rap fans is There's actually not a lot of rapping on it relative to like how many songs are like on there. So to call it like the best rap album of all time is kind of a slap in the
It
face.
was on
Because,
Lori head when that list dropped. I felt bad for McQueen.
yeah, boy. What you about to say, Cam?
I about to say it's just kind of wild, like, because I agree with Daniel. Like, it kind of lives in that realm where it's like it literally can't be like people feel like it can't be critiqued, and it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then like once someone believes it, then everybody is like on that train, and it's
Yes.
like, oh yeah, I believe it, I believe it, I
I
believe
will
it. And
say
it's
this,
like,
Jordan. My bad, Cam. But is it
no, you got
on
it.
the list? Is it rated as a rap album? Because like you guys are saying, you're claiming it as it was saying that it's
Ah,
just a rap album, but they could have been looking at it because this is a list about all genres of music. And when I recently just listened to it for the first time, probably about a month or two ago, and
Like
as
ever?
far as like yeah, like ever, that was my first time listening to it from front to back,
Damn.
like 2 months ago. And even now,
Okay,
like
man.
that shit was beautiful and it was amazing. And now, if you looking at it from both rap and R&B,
oh no,
it was up there.
No, get this. I
I
can't say that. Miseducation is not the best R&B album either. I'm sorry, Jordan. I know
No,
I'm
but
cutting
it
you
does.
off,
It
but
has the best of both, though. It has the best of both. Is what I'm getting at.
I hear you, but I don't
It's kind
know
of
if
like
it's
with Drake. His best album to me is Nothing Was the Same, but that's not his best rapping
agree.
was on If You're Reading This. To me personally, you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
So it's kind
Subjective
of
on
like you
his.
getting the best of both on Nothing Was the Same.
So historically, Jaquez, to answer your question, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill has always been viewed as a rap album. So that's why I assumed that's what it was viewed as by Rolling Stone. That's how it's always been labeled. Like even though it was not that much rap, because like if you rap even a little bit on something, people gonna call you a rapper. That's just how they've always
She
done.
raps enough for it to be rap. For me personally,
Yeah,
she raps enough for it to be rap.
yeah, for sure. But I was saying like that's the thing about it is it definitely got labeled as rap by her. Uh, well, by critics and things of that nature. But that's a good point too, Jarquez. Maybe we're looking at it we're looking at it too obtusely, and maybe we should just take it as like this. It got its spot because of how well it did at blending the two, rather than how well it was at just rapping. I think that's actually a very great point. But like I said, lists like this, they don't feel real to me. Like I said, I don't know how you can. Like I said, we tried a conversation about objectively rating music and talking about differences in music and things of that nature. I think you can do that. When you start crossing genres and then you make a list as big as like 500 albums, which means that you had
100
to
is too
listen.
much, even if it was just one.
And the thing about listening 500 albums is you can't have listened to just 500 albums. That means you had to listen to like 1,000. Because like when I make like my top 50 list for like the hip hop albums of the year, I've actually listened to like 80 to like 90 albums in that given year, which means like 40 to make the cut. So if you you got top 500 albums, that means you listen to like 1,000 albums. And I don't know how you could realistically split the hairs between all that music.
And there's also no way that everyone who's on this voting panel or whatever possibly listen to all the music that's on the panel,
or even use the same criteria.
Go ahead, Danny.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna say some people shouldn't talk about hip hop, and I know it's gatekeeping. I may be being words that I'm not gonna say, but everybody doesn't need to talk about hip hop. I don't care. That's what I'm thinking, Cam, but I don't want to vocalize it. But so like, I don't trust it, and I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just disrespectful to just so many people and so many albums, and I get it. It's subjective. It's five. I don't know. Fuck out of here. That's honestly how I feel. It's just not. It's not real to me. Someone brought that list up to me actually because I guess MIA is on the list because they were telling me the MIA Travis Scott song came out, but I don't like Travis Scott, so I was like, I'm not listening. I don't care. I don't think enough of MIA to listen to it. It was like, oh, Rolling Stone says her album was like 400 and something. I was like, you think I care what a group of white people got together to say? Like,
imagine
that doesn't move me.
That's a horrible. Like, why would you want to be the 473rd best rap album of all time? Like,
I mean,
cool. Better than not being on the list.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, like,
because I'm sitting at home.
I didn't care to look at the list because I just thought it was like I said, it's not real. But I was interested to see where they place certain albums, just to see where they compare them to.
Did Kendrick have one on there?
Yeah, the Pimp Butterfly was on there.
More than likely.
I'm pretty sure Good Kid, Mad City was on there, even though I didn't see its placement. But I think the Pimp Butterfly was like top 50. I think I might be wrong. It might have been it was around that range. It was no higher than 40, I don't think. I think Lemonade was like higher than any Jay-Z album.
And that's another thing. No disrespect to Beyonce. This Lemonade talk is now starting to get out of control. I think it's a good album. That's not even Beyonce's best album. That's not even Beyonce's
Oh God, it's not her best album. Oh God, it's
literally not.
It's not even her best album.
So we've gone to this place where one person says something, and if this person is stamped enough or holds enough cultural influence, that it just becomes like the standard. But it's getting out of control. It's getting out of hand.
No, that's another album. Like I said, is entering that weird realm where it's being critically acclaimed to be like the best Beyonce album or like the best R&B album of like this decade. And like,
and it's a good album.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not that.
Yeah, it's like it's not that girl. Word to chord.
Like, it's just I don't know. And I only like you. I guess maybe I shouldn't even really talk heavily on the list because like you, I have not seen the full list. I just remember I got on the internet and I saw people attacking certain artists for not being on the list. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I saw maybe excerpts from the list of like where certain people were ranked. I was like, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't like that no woman in rap, excluding L Boogie, the great New Jersey's finest. Got nothing but love for her. That's an honorary Haitian in my mind. But I just don't see how no woman in rap didn't make that list. I don't see how Foxy Brown's Il Na Na wasn't there. I don't see how Little Kim's Hardcore was. Biggie put too much time, too much rhymes into Hardcore for it not to make a list for me. So I don't understand that.
Yeah, man. But like I said, I expect no list from Rolling Stone. Like I know they did their best. I'll give them that. But sometimes your best ain't good enough.
I'll say we don't want to keep that shit.
So
no cap.
Last topic, basketball topic. I want to talk to you guys about the stars that we have seen born inside of the bubble. And I'm going to ask you guys whether you think that this is the new guy, like this is the new normal for the guy. Is he a star? If you think this was a fluke and we will never see a performance like this from him again, or that's pretty much how we're going to do this. So first guy up is Donovan Mitchell, who averaged 36 points in the first round in 7 games. He shot 53% from the field, shot 52% from 3. He averaged around 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Is this Donovan Mitchell, the guy we saw in the first round of this playoffs? Is this the new norm from him? Is this the level of play we should be expecting from him? Is he going to be like a superstar in the playoffs going forward?
I wouldn't say a superstar, but he's definitely a number one option. He's definitely a closer. I see him as, you remember we talked about a while back about like who are actual closers in the NBA and who are actual number one C's or options or whatever. And Donovan Mitchell has definitely done what he needs to do to say that. Now 36 points, that's a little tough. I ain't gonna lie.
Let's say 30. Let's say, do you think he'd be a 30 points per game scorer?
Yes, I definitely can see Donovan Mitchell getting 30 a night in the playoffs. Elevating his play, averaging around 26 points in the regular season and upping that output to about 30 points in the playoffs. Yes, because the offense centered around him. That's the perks of having a Rudy Gobert, just your co-star. You don't have, you can, you get the focus on offense. You get all the shots. You take as many shots as you want. So, and he's just consistently gotten better each year. So I think he can definitely keep up that output.
Cam,
I was gonna say yes, and I think this is gonna be Donovan Mitchell moving forward. I think Donovan Mitchell was always a pretty good player. I think I wouldn't call him a superstar or say he's gonna be a superstar, but I think, like I said earlier, I think we have to realize that their minutes restriction was kind of lifted up during bubble play, so everyone was playing an insane amount of time. So when we look at those inflated statistics, it's because they're just playing that much more basketball. But no, I think he'll continue to be this. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
Cam, what do you think?
I'm with them. I do remember a certain someone slandering Donovan Mitchell on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Sound like some Jordan Accord shit.
That was
I don't know.
That was definitely Cord. He was saying. I remember. Cord said Rudy Gobert was better than Donovan Mitchell.
He was saying trade Rudy Gobert. Donovan.
All right, so that was a horrible take. We gotta talk to Cord, man.
You ain't gonna peg that one on me. I want to peg that take on me.
All right, but I definitely think this is a new normal, like we said. I honestly think we've seen it happen before. Players that players just get better in the playoffs, and I think that's just who Donovan Mitchell is going to be. Like, granted, 36 points per game. Honestly, if you're the Jazz, you probably don't want him averaging 36 points per game because then he's probably doing too much, and that means you're probably down in the series, and he feels like he doesn't have any help around him. So maybe you don't want him averaging 36 a game because I feel like that's kind of overexerting yourself unless you're on a team like the Warriors and KD can average 36 because he's getting a lot of easy shots on a playoff team. But yeah, I wouldn't want him averaging that many points. But I definitely think this is a new normal. Clutch, able to get his own shot, able to play with anybody else on the offensive end and defensive end. So yeah, I definitely think this is Donovan Mitchell moving forward.
He averaged the most points in the playoffs per points per game. Granted, he played one series, but he did go to 7.
Yeah, it was 7 games though.
The second highest scorer in the playoffs also only played 1 round. He played 6 games. Was Luka Doncic. He averaged 31 points, 9.8 rebounds, 8.7 assists, and he shot 50% from the field, 36% from 3. Guys, is this the beginning?
Hell yes.
Hell yeah. You ain't gotta finish that sentence.
He did it all regular season. Like,
you ain't gotta finish that sentence, Jay Watt.
Out of here. So yeah, I don't think we really need to talk about this. That's him. That's his.
Nah, dude is gonna be special, and it makes hurts even worse being a Suns fan and getting DeAndre. I like DeAndre Ayton. I need to stop talking about him, but it just hurts.
Cool or whatever,
Yeah, he's not that girl.
You sound like me talking about Tatum.
I want to point out that
oh yeah.
I want to point out that Donovan Mitchell is 23.
Love Lonzo though.
And Donovan Mitchell is 23, and then Luka Doncic is 21. Crazy how young they are, man. And what they're doing in the postseason. Like, just incredible. So here's the next abnormal playoff performance. This guy he only played 1 round. He averaged 28 points.
Yeah, what's up with all these round players, Jordan?
Is this the blind resume?
He averaged 28 points in this series. He averaged 11 rebounds, 4 assists. He's a center. Is actually Nikola Vucevic.
Oh,
was killing Brook Lopez and the Bucks in that first round. Is this legit, or is this bubble?
Yeah.
Or is it
I think it's legit because I feel like I feel like him and Jokic, their game, they're so used to their game is so skilled based that they can put their production, they can do that in any environment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now if his team's success, I think his team success stays about the same, first round exit. But him personally, I can definitely see him, killing niggas in the first round and getting his ass booted. But
he's
that's neither here or there.
He's pretty talented. He's 29 though, so this is his ceiling, I guess so. But like I said, performances like the 28 points a game. But then again, the Bucks defense just fell apart after the bubble went down too. That's another thing to take into account. Like they just weren't all there through the postseason, man. So
I definitely agree that it can be a new normal. I mean, not a new normal per se, but this is who he really is. But it just sucks because it's not gonna matter because he's on the Orlando Magic. It's not gonna matter.
I was gonna say his playoff numbers to me seem like a natural elevation from what your regular season is supposed to be than to your playoffs. So I don't think the numbers were just that extreme. That was
crazy,
to me. For me to be like, oh, it's not gonna happen. It just seems like who he is. Bubble, no bubble.
Also gonna be a small sample size, but I'm gonna say 28 and 11. That's pretty tough. I wouldn't have guessed he had that in him.
Well, he was averaging like 22 in the regular season, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
19.6. So 20 points, about 11 rebounds. So that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's still close enough for it to me to be like, you know what? He realized
that's
the moment.
A 10-point bump, though.
It up 11.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like postseason, it's like when you think about these superstars in the league, that's reasonable uptick. When you think about guys you think are just all-star good to solid, they generally don't have spikes that high. That's why I thought it was bizarre that he played that well. But then again, small sample size, it was 5 games. So
well, then again,
and I think it's different when you have to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ken.
I was about to say it's interesting because we always had this conversation when a guy goes from being just good to being great in the playoffs, but then we have another conversation when they become the focal point of the offense. So I mean, it's tiers to it.
Yeah, and like I said, we have to wait and see how he adjusts to it, if they're even given a chance to. They might not make the playoffs next year. Jamal Murray, who we talked about earlier, he's averaging 27 points per game. He is averaging, I think this is like 6.6 assists. Only averaging like 2 turnovers, and he's shooting currently 51% from the field, 46% from 3, and 89% from free throws. So he's almost at 50-40-90 through 3 rounds in the playoffs. He is 23 years old. Is this the new Jamal Murray?
I feel like we all spoke.
This is why I think I ain't gonna stunt, man. Did you remember in the first round when he dropped like 50? Then I was like, "Hey, Jordan." We asked the same question. I said, "Jordan, that nigga inconsistent." And next thing he dropped like 12, and then after that he just been hooping since then.
Yep.
I don't know, but that nigga just a little too inconsistent for me. I got to see it throughout a whole year. Like he ain't got to average 30, but like 22, 23, a modest. I'm a lead scoring guard. I'm here to score. Those are numbers I feel like he should be able to. Like Buddy Hield can give you 22 a game. Like, nigga, you can't give me 22.
The thing about Murray is he kind of disappeared in that Clipper series until Game 7 when he went out for 40. But that granted, he had Paul George and Kawhi chasing him and handing him off of screens. But that first round, I think he had 2 or 3 50-point games. And he was like the first person. Him and Donovan Mitchell, like the first people since Jordan to have like multiple 50-point games in the same series.
That was kind of wild.
Yeah, it is. And he's been playing really, really, really well in this Lakers series. I'm gonna tell you what, man.
Had 40 to close out the Clippers too.
Yeah, like
I hate to see it. Couldn't be my team.
I don't think that this is the new normal. Not this hyper efficiency. Shooting 50-40-90 in the playoffs. I don't think that's who Jamal Murray is. But I think he can get those same numbers on a less efficient scale. I think that's who he actually is.
I get what Jocko is saying, but I guess I kind of have so I get the idea that. So for me, for something to be a fluke, it can only happen once.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can have a fluke for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 games. Like it's no longer a fluke. Yeah. This is just you're elevating your game to this level. Now I'm not saying you're going to continue to elevate, but to me that means you realize what the moment is. And for this particular series, this postseason, whatever, you take the necessary steps needed to elevate your game to this level. I don't feel like that can be a fluke after a few games. So if you do it like Linsanity was I don't want to call him a fluke. That's disrespectful. But Linsanity was a fluke.
That shows a fluke.
Yeah, we're the Benny the Butcher.
Yeah, I felt a little bad when it started coming out, but the game is a game. But I don't think you can do that. And then, Jack, you said you want him to average 22 for you to realize like this is it. He averaged 19 this season. You think he's not gonna get 3 more points?
That's what I'm saying. Like but he did that. He averaged like 19 a season before too. Like, that was the year I was saying the same thing. Like, yeah, he's gonna be if that's your job, that's my thing. Is your job is to get buckets. That's his job. Joker is your playmaker. That's your main playmaker. We're not saying get buckets and get playmaker. Yeah. No, nigga, just go out there and shoot. You know what I'm saying? If you're labeled a shooter, I feel like a shooter. Like I said, Buddy Hield can go get you 22, 23 a night. I honestly feel like he should go get 25. He's capable of getting 25. That's what I think. In the regular season, I feel like he's a 25-point night guy. But that's neither here or there.
But like I said,
that's just me personally.
If he's able to get
spotlight, go ahead, Jordan.
If he's able to get that in the regular season, with the whole traveling and all that stuff, entailed, then I give it. Jack would say, if you're able to do it in the regular season all next year, then it could solidifies what he did here in his playoffs. It wasn't just bubble, like it wasn't just bubble, and factors helping
You're killing
him
me with that bubble shit.
Hey, I'm just being honest, fam. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of people in this bubble shooting like 50, 40, 90. That is very, very bizarre. Like they don't normally happen. Like I ain't gonna sit here and just think that like niggas
on the same goals.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here to think like, oh wow, all these players all became Kevin Durant and Steph Curry efficient in the same postseason because they had to. Yeah, and Steve Nash. I'm
not saying that the bubble doesn't matter, and I get what you're saying, that it changes things. It changes things a lot. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but to me, I feel like it's being used in a way to kind of discredit a lot of these players and maybe the hard work that they're putting in. So I'm not saying that the bubble don't affect them, but damn it, after a while, I feel like you got to just give it up. Like, you got to just give it up.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I said that it would what he's doing. Like you could, like I said, you can't say it's all the bubble. You can't even say it is the bubble. It could just be that he elevated his play. But him coming out next regular season and showing that same chops outside of the bubble solidifies that what he did inside the bubble was like, okay, that was all
real.
him. Yeah, that was all him.
For me, it's real now. I can look up the statistics and it's gonna be there. It's real. It happened. My question was gonna be, do you think? So I know you're saying what you want him to do. It's my question is now, does he have to? Because in the bubble, he has to do this. They've been down 3-1 three times now.
Yeah.
They're not coming back this time. But so he's putting up all these numbers because he has to. There's no other option. You're fighting for your life every night. So is that a thing in the regular season? Is the coach even putting him in positions where you are doing this in the regular season? So I feel like we got to analyze it in its like context.
I get what you're saying too, because you won't be playing as many minutes as he's playing. Like in the regular season, you prioritize winning, but you also prioritize health. So you're going to give your backup point guards more minutes. You're going to spread the scoring around, try to get people like Michael Porter Jr. and others involved more to get them going in the regular season. You're going to run more of an offense that's more team oriented than a whole. We're going to just let Jokic and Jamal Murray try to win this every game. You have to do that in the playoffs with your best players. In the regular season, not so much. So he probably won't have that scoring load that's been placed on him now. They probably won't ask him like, hey, Jamal, you don't have to go out there and get 50 every night. Like we don't need that. Like, this is a regular season. Don't go out there and burn yourself out every night trying to get to 50. But like I said, so I get what you're saying, Daniel, in that regard. So the thing he's asked of him won't be asked of him in the regular season next year. So even if he does just kind of coast regular season, if he gets to the next postseason, he could easily do what he's doing now again. It's like the regular season won't be indicative of what he did. I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
There's only one other guy I want to ask y'all about, and that would be Jason Tatum, who is averaging 26 points per game.
So we're not talking about Devin Booker.
No, not Devin Booker.
They say he had to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I've only talking about the guys who are in the playoffs. My mistake, man.
That's cool.
Because then we got to talk about T.J. Warren. I don't like.
Hell no.
I got you. Even though we exposed them, but it's cool. We can move forward.
We've been here a while, so I was trying to wrap it up a little bit. But
I got you. Cool.
Jason Tatum averaging 26 and 10. He's averaging close to 5 assists a game, shooting 44% from the field, 38% from three. Has Jason Tatum finally arrived?
Yeah, that nigga a star. That nigga superstar.
He wasn't always this. He wasn't this before this.
He wasn't. He was just a star. He's a superstar right now. He's playing like a superstar. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Them niggas come back down from the three. This down 3-1. That motherfucker might hop Paul George on that goddamn best in the NBA list. I ain't gonna stunt.
I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm working on a top 20 list. I think I got Jason Tatum in front of him right now. In a way, like based on this season and what they giving me, I think I gotta put Jason Tatum in front of Paul George. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm still debating it, but regardless of what he does in the series going forward, unless he just lays a freaking goose egg, but even then, what he's done up to this point has been better than what Paul George has given us so far. So, like, I think Jason Tatum has arrived. He's becoming a more capable playmaker, and I think that's like.
I just need Brad to put that nigga in a position to win, bro. That's all you need is for Brad to put him in position.
I'm gonna say
it happened around.
Brad.
I think Tatum be going.
No, because if you watch the game, it's like, all right, Kimba, it's your turn. All right, Jason, it's your turn. All right, Marcus Smart. Well, Marcus Smart just did what the fuck he want to do. All right, Jalen, it's your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no flow, no movement in offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what. And like the Heat to go and get an easy layup. Celtics, they got an ISO, do 5 dribble moves, then go get a layup. Heat to do like a simple little cut, back screen, backdoor cut, and they get a layup. That's why the Heat are easily beating their ass, because the Heat are not working hard for their buckets.
No, I think that Tatum and mainly Tatum and Marcus Smart be going off script. Like, I think when the offense be going well, as soon as they miss 1 or 2 shots off of ball movement, them two start jacking, especially Smart. That boy get to shooting like he the best shooter on the team.
I ain't gonna stunt though. Hey, that motherfucker. I watched one game where he won them a game. Nigga hit like 4 threes in the 4th. It's just you get what you get with that nigga. You get what you get with him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
somebody brought that up last game. It was like, yeah, man, if he didn't shoot like that, he would make all them threes in the the fourth quarter. I said, yeah, but then the next game he can go 1 for 8, and he went 1 for 8 like the next game he played from 3. Like that's that's the gift and curse that comes with Marcus Smart.
That's just what you get with him. Yeah, that's just what you get with him. But you just roll with those punches. But he also gonna get you. He also capable going to get you 7 stops too.
Yeah, but I was saying like
on
that,
the other end of the court.
But that's what I was about to say. Going back to like Brad is, you can't stop Marcus Smart from going out there and jacking. Like you just can't. Last night Marcus Smart took 9 shots. Like that's all he took. I think that's all he should be taking for a guy at his talent level. When you got Brown, who's a better offensive option, you got Kemba, who's supposed to be a better offensive option, and you got guys like also Tatum and Hayward, who's supposed to be better offensive players than him. He shouldn't be taking more shots than all of those guys I just named. But you can't. If you're Brad, you can't stop Smart from catching the ball and somebody closing out of him and Smart thinking like, fuck it, and then just rising up and shooting anyway in their face. Like, ain't nothing you can do about that.
No, it's not. I just feel like, but if you don't give him the opportunity, like my thing is like it's the opportunity to do that because there's no flow within the offense. So if you got him moving around, I feel like there'd be less opportunity for him to do that if you're actually running sets or running motions, and your team is like, you're creating easy looks because most of the time he does that. Late shot clock. I've watched a couple of their games and I don't think I've seen him do take an early shot clock bad shot yet. At least not to my recollection. I might be bugging, but I don't think I've seen him take a early shot clock bad shot yet.
Yeah, nigga, he'll take some bad. I don't know. I don't want to pay attention to the shot clock, but he's taking some bad contested shots. So, but that's this or there. But yeah, Jason Tatum. I think this is the new norm for him. I think he has arrived. I think we're gonna see this guy, the guy we saw in the second half of like the All-Star break and like around the All-Star break, and now I think that's who we see from now on from Jason Tatum. I think he's here. Shout out to him.
I got 2 things.
Okay.
So one, I'm gonna go back to Brad Stevens. I just feel like all season I've never heard anybody critiques this man's coaching. Say he's a bad coach. If anything, I always hear him in conversations for Coach of the Year. So I don't think randomly at the end of the season he magically just forgets how to coach. To me, I feel like and I'm not saying that there aren't bad coaches. I'm a Lakers fan. I know what it is to have a bad coach. But I just don't think, to me, I feel like it's an easy scapegoat to just like absolve players of their wrongdoings and not like really be critical of them. And I think the easiest thing to say, oh, coach did this, that. Coach didn't make you not get those buckets. Coach didn't make you lag off on defense or lag off on your assignment. So I just, maybe I'm not watching.
I feel like if Brad Stevens says, hey, all right, this is a zone. They're in I'm pretty sure they're in 1-2-2. To beat a 1-2-2, you're gonna get the ball in the middle of the court. They're gonna have the collapse, and there's gonna be wide open shots on the wings and in the corner. That's how you beat a 1-2-2. And with that, rather than just doing that, they're still ISOing. I doubt that Brad is telling them, let's move the ball to beat this zone, and them niggas just going out there and still just ISOing.
You think?
It could be. As I was saying, they could be, man. Marcus, like
so they're just saying, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I just find it hard to believe that.
I think players do that. I think sometimes, and especially you just said, you saw Smart hit like 4 threes in a row. I think you get that confidence, so the next game you be like, nah, nigga, it's my time.
Not only that, like that's probably also what probably made Marcus Smart go off in that locker room, like made him so angry. It's like, hey, y'all, he said in Marcus Smart words, y'all on that bullshit.
Like, yeah, so I don't think it's a Brad problem, honestly.
No, I don't. I'll say this though. I'm
not saying he's the problem. I'm just saying, damn, man, like you gotta like the games I've watched. There's no movement in the offense. Late game, Kemba can be 3 for fucking 20, and they're still giving him ball late game situations. I just don't understand. And they're freezing Jay. Now, if you watch the fourth quarter and overtime of every game that they've been in close, they freeze Jaylen Brown out the offense. The nigga doesn't touch the ball unless it's off an offensive rebound.
Yeah, that does happen.
I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said Brad. But obviously, it's the players too. But I just feel like those finite things, if you fix those finite things, those close games you lose, you win.
For me, they've been on the stage before, so we know when them niggas was rookies, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They took LeBron to 7 games, so it's not even like they're new to this arena. They've been here before. They know what it's like.
Right.
Granted, they don't know what it's like to win here yet, but damn it, they know what it's like to get within like scrapping distance of winning. So I just can't imagine you've been doing something correctly all season or these past few years. Like, you know what it takes to get to this moment. Then when you get at this moment, you randomly collapse. Yes, that does happen sometimes. I don't believe that's what's going on with this team. I think this team is beating themselves up. I don't think Miami's just like that much more talent. This shit don't got nothing to do with Jason.
Exactly. It's all self-inflicted. They're not putting themselves in the right position.
I think it's more so props to the Heat and what they're capable of doing with their zone. Because zones don't usually work in the NBA for a lot of different reasons. The fact that Heat are throwing out, like they're changing. They've done a 3-2. They've done a 2-3. They've done a 1-2-1. Like they just switch it on the fly. And the fact they're able to not only make any of those zones work, but they're able to switch between them and still effectively execute them. I think that speaks more to what the Heat are doing, not letting the Celtics get comfortable. Because even if you say, okay, we're gonna run these sets against this zone, the Heat will change the zone or go man to man like that, and then they'll switch back to it when you're not comfortable again, out of bounds. That's what's keeping, I think, the Celtics on their toes and keeping them from being able to get in a real good rhythm against them offensively. But like I said, I would point to the players being smart enough to like, okay, this is 2-3 zone. Because like you said, everybody's played against it, knowing where they should and should not be on the court and what you should and should not do against a zone. Like you shouldn't ISO against a zone. Like everybody knows that. So if Tatum knows that, why is he doing it? But like I digress. Or at least swing the ball, like at the very least, and then
that's how you beat a zone. You swing the ball because the ball's gonna always move faster than the defense can.
And everybody knows it. And so, like everybody knows it. Like you shouldn't need your coach to say, "Hey, they're in a zone. Move the ball." Like you really shouldn't need your coach to say that. And that's why I said, if you saying, are they ignoring Brad? Probably so, because that's something you shouldn't even have to say anyway. Like they should know it because they hoopers. Like they should know that this is not what you're supposed to do against the zone. But that's all I got. You guys got any closing thoughts? What we call today?
I'm gonna say,
so no Tory Lanez who's wilding because Core's not on.
Yeah,
is that not what we doing?
Core's not on. 2, I didn't listen to it. 3, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to entertain Tory Lanez, to be all honesty.
Hey, respect. I respect it.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue to say, support your local museums. If they tell you they pushing neutrality, tell them fuck them. They don't represent you, and you pay your tax dollars. They're supposed to represent you, especially if it's a state museum.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna say go listen to that new Mozzie album. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, he made the same album twice. Blah blah blah. Shut up. It's good. It doesn't matter. So same 40 rap song of the year. Get that shit out of here.
Check it out. I still haven't listened to it yet. Might play when I go to the mall in a minute. You got anything, Cam? Phoenix Suns. Let's go. Y'all time gonna come, Cam.
Representing straight from the bubble. This is an Orlando bubble exclusive, baby. You already know what it is.
Y'all time gonna come, so Cam. There's gonna be one day where every time we go on the podcast, we gotta talk about Devin Booker. One day.
You know what? I don't know if that's gonna happen, but
yeah, that's when he leaves.
One day.
Shouts out to the Mississippi legend though. We love him. We love Devin Booker around here.
Nah, Jack, we're gonna talk about him every week when he started wilding out like AD did in New Orleans. Remember when AD was acting crazy? We had to talk about this shit every week.
Yeah. Look. Jordan B gonna do like Eric so did him. He gonna tweet, I don't want to be here. My bad, I was mad.
Hey man,
no, that was the peak. That was the peak of what's the word I'm looking for? I gotta think of the word right now.
That was a valley.
Dysfunction. That was the peak of our dysfunction. That's what that was.
Boy, that nigga E-Bled was funny as hell for that.
AD was acting up too, man. Because I remember every week it was like, "Are we gonna have to talk about AD again?" I'm like, "We kind of got to."
And then he wore the "That's all folks" shirt.
That's all folks. Like it was all bad.
And then he was like, "My stylist." He was like, "My stylist puts my outfits together."
I'm gonna tell you my third eye was open when when AD was picking and choosing what games he was gonna play, and he didn't play against any of the Laker games last year. I said, my third eye wide open. I see the jig.
You love to see it. Oh, it was a beautiful decision. I had the audacity to say, "No, I don't trade them young boys. We love them young boys. Fuck all them young niggas.
Fuck them kids, Daniel.
Fuck them kids.
I'm gonna tell you
Finals MVP. You love to see it. I can't. Oh, 5 more games."
Okay. So, like I said, by the time this time next week when y'all see us again, we should be in the finals. Like we should be talking about the finals at that point. Whether it be the Lakers,
We
whether
know
it
who gonna
be
be there. Ain't no whether it's gonna be. Get that shit out of here, nigga.
whether it's
Do
the
like
Heat,
you supposed
the
to.
Celtics,
You
or the
know what,
Nuggets.
Jordan, boy, we need Daniel on next week because if it's a funeral, boy, that shit can hit. Boy, I need you to
Yeah.
open up with that clip right there.
But like I said,
If it's a funeral,
I don't expect the Lakers to be
We ain't the
Bruh,
bitch
be
ass
that
Clippers.
bad.
I
But
ain't
all
gonna
right.
lie. I'll pull out like a cross and a priest costume for that one.
Hey, yeah.
I just wouldn't show up, so it don't even matter really.
But all right. Thank you all for tuning into another episode of the Pop the Man Podcast. See you next week for another episode of your favorite podcast.